welcome to P.N. Online trading education community. Thank you for joining us. We have a very, very special guest today. She's the author of a book called Undressing Bitcoin. And she's on news television, business news television, frequent guest on some of the top business programs. Layah Heilpern, thank you for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And so you know a lot about Bitcoin and crypto, obviously. You wrote a book on it. What gave you the idea to write that book on Bitcoin?
It's a good question. I think Bitcoin is such a complex topic and everybody's trying to understand it. And I just don't think there's enough information out there. The information that's currently out there are these heavy books. They're really technical. And I just think that becomes such a barrier to entry for so many young people that want to get involved. You know, even women, I'm not particularly like a feminist or anything like that, but you know, women, I think should have their own money. I think they should have financial freedom, and they're not going to pick up some like fat, heavy, technical book written by, you know, some nerd or whatever. They're not going to pick it up. So I wanted to create something which was, you know, appealing, sexy, exciting, that gave like a whole nother demographic access to this technology.
What the day trading opportunities in crypto now? What do you see like people that are successful at day trading? What are they talking about?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't recommend day trading in crypto. I think it's one massive casino. You know, you can day trade, but you need to be eyes on the chart. Like you have to give up everything to be a successful day trader. Like I do a lot of consulting, like marketing consulting and things like that. And I do that for a lot of traders. And because they want to grow their trading community and things like that. And they really struggle because they can't do both. They can't build the business, build the online brand, and also trade successfully. So you need to dedicate yourself to trading. Otherwise, you're just not going to do it because it's a casino.
Yeah. And what do you think that the best day traders in crypto right now that you've met? Because you've met pretty much a lot of the big ones at least. What would you say they're doing? Hedge fund managers, what are they doing that are actually able to get a good return on investment?
That's a good question. Not trading with emotion. I think that's the biggest thing. People get really emotionally attached to their coins. Take Luna, for example. Luna made people a lot of money, even Solana, right? And it becomes really difficult for people to sell. Even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is very philosophical and you love Bitcoin. You love what it means, how it empowers freedom. And so people find it really difficult to sell. So they get really attached. The best thing to do is to take the money. It's to take the money off the table. And that's actually the hardest thing to do. You have to sell. When you're in profit, sell. Do not get greedy because tomorrow, you know, today you're a millionaire, tomorrow you have nothing. You need to sell. And that is something which most people cannot do.
Other than your book, Undressing Bitcoin, what's like another book you would recommend for someone who wants to be a day trader right now? A beginner.
So beginner in crypto or beginner day trader? Because I'd say they're different, you know. Crypto. That's a good question. I would say the classic, the Bitcoin Standard. Safety into the Bitcoin Standard. It goes through everything, you know. My friend Jason Williams also wrote a book, Hard Money You Can't Fuck With. That was also really good. But, you know, if you want to be a day trader, I'd pick up trading books. You know, I wouldn't pick up like a crypto book as such, which teaches you all the different coins and, you know, how blockchain works and like proof of work versus proof of stake and all these, you know, concepts. I'd stay away from that. I'd pick up a trading book and I'd learn the charts. I'd learn like, you know, the different flows, the different, you know, triangles, all the different lines and everything like that. That's what I would learn, yeah.
Where do you see crypto going? I mean, in the next 3 years, 5 years?
So crypto is going to be mass adopted, and it's already being mass adopted. We see, you know, MasterCard, Visa, loads of different payment intermediaries, PayPal, whatever it is, you know, adopting crypto and allowing people to use it. So, but I think that it's not going to go down a good route. And by that, I mean, I see governments creating their own crypto, which would be a central bank digital currency. And that is basically a cryptocurrency, but it's also like the fiat currency that we have now. So it's just like a digital dollar, which is programmable. And so governments have the ability to program the money so they can decide how people spend that money. So like with all technology, it's all very exciting at first, but it can then be harnessed and used for the worst. And that's where I see the crypto space going, unfortunately. Bitcoin, however, I see sort of being the vaccine to that, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. Well, what would you say has made you so successful in like the crypto capital of the United States, Miami?
That's a good question. I guess it's just showing up every day and continuously putting out content around crypto. I think it's because I have a genuine love for Bitcoin and genuine love for crypto. And for me personally, I'm very philosophical about it. I think Bitcoin is a tool which enables freedom, and in the world that we're living in right now, I think it's something that we desperately need. So, I think it also depends like how you define successful. Like, do you mean financially, or do you mean just like, career-wise? Yeah. So in career-wise, it's, just having genuine conviction.
Yeah, I could tell you do really well. But you don't seem very flashy. Do you reinvest your profits, or do you just, I'm just curious, you don't mind.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not flashy because I just don't think that's like a classy way to be as a woman.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. I think it's a nice look on men. I don't think it's a nice look on women. And also I don't really care for like materialistic things. Like I have a nice Louis Vuitton handbag and, I don't really need to do much more, I think it looks kind of tacky on a woman to be really flashy. But yes, I do reinvest capital, of course, I do trade shitcoins on the side.
So you trade also?
Yeah, but like swing trade. I don't day trade.
Swing trading.
Yeah, I swing trade. Yeah, different shitcoins. But it's a casino, and it's just like not something I'd recommend. I only do that because I work in a space, so my ear is to the ground, right? Like I know what's happening and when it's happening, so I know how to get in and out of trades. I know like different launches that are happening. I know a lot of stuff that's happening basically. So I'm able to get in and out of trades quite quickly. But it's not something I would ever recommend a newbie getting involved in at all.
How do you get taken? I think you've managed to pull off something pretty impressive, which is you're taken very seriously as a woman in the space. Was that extra harder for you or not? No. Yeah, I felt like that'd be an answer.
I felt like if you make it an issue, then it's an issue.
Yeah.
I think like, to be honest, like something which people just don't talk about is like when you're a minority, like when you're a woman in a male-dominated space, it's an advantage. Of course it is. It means you're different, you're interesting, and then men just want to watch you because you're a pretty woman. Yeah. So it adds to your success. It's helpful. So yeah, anyone that says being a woman in crypto is hard is lying to you. It's easy.
If you're an 18-year-old woman and you want to be a day trader and get involved in crypto, what would be one advice you would give that person?
Advice for trading or for being or surviving as a woman?
Trader, a woman and a trader in crypto.
As a trader,
and she looks up to you.
As a trader, like know what you're doing. Like learn everything. Learn like how to read a chart, basically. Spend hours on YouTube, know what you're doing, understand all the different coins, and try and figure out like what upcoming launches there are, because that obviously affects the price of these different tokens. As a woman, it's just pretty irrelevant, really. Just crack on. I don't think it matters.
Do you think Miami will play a big role in the future of crypto?
Yeah, it already is, because a lot of crypto companies are moving here. We've had the Bitcoin conference here year after year. I don't know how many years they've had it here actually, but and some of the biggest crypto conferences are in North America is here in Miami. The mayor, Francis Suarez, he takes some of his salary in Bitcoin. I actually interviewed him in 2021. Yeah, and he's really pro crypto. Florida in general is very pro freedom, especially in comparison to like New York and California. And so naturally, I think it lends itself better to crypto. So yeah, absolutely. You just have to see how many, not just crypto, but how many tech companies and how many entrepreneurs are moving to Miami. So yeah, it definitely is going to be a hub for the future.
And then yeah, like so if people like when you saw this thing with Michael Saylor, he said some pretty controversial stuff. Do you think in 5 years Michael Saylor will be viewed as a genius for what he's done with crypto? Or did he?
Oh, he'll be seen as a genius. Yeah, I think it was Michael Saylor who was talking about Apple and back in the day, saying, Apple will do really well. I think he spoke about the dot-com boom, how that would do really well. Oh yeah, he's a genius. Yeah, and it's already gonna start paying off. We've survived from my opinion, the bottom of the crypto bear market of this particular cycle. So for me, it's mostly up from here. So yeah, then every cycle we make higher lows.
Do you think there's going to be so much regulation in the United States with crypto that it sort of defeats the purpose of having this?
Yeah, of course, to some extent. But then you have something like Bitcoin, and I believe regulators said they can't regulate Bitcoin. Like, how do you regulate a decentralized asset which is also anonymous? Albeit it's not private, but it is anonymous. And even in the EU, they're trying to regulate crypto. And so what they want people to, they want to regulate the non-KYC wallets. So the exchanges are easy to regulate. Either you abide by our rules or we shut you down, right? But with the apps and the ledgers and the Trezors and all of that, they want people to screenshot their wallet with their name and everything to KYC themselves. And it's funny because it's like, how do you implement that? Like that's a nice idea, but like how do you implement that? How do you police that? You just can't. And so I think it's going to be very interesting to see governments try and shut it down. Even in China have shut down Bitcoin so many times. I think I'm Bitcoin mining, and yet people are still trading Bitcoin in China. People are still doing all these things. So yeah, I think regulation is definitely going to hurt a large part of the casino that is crypto, but I don't think it will hurt Bitcoin. But then on top of that, they also just said that XRP isn't a security, which is also really interesting, because then if XRP is a security, then everything's a security. And they said that it isn't. So that gives life to the space in America.
Do you think Elon Musk in 5 years will be viewed as a genius for acquiring Twitter or an idiot?
Such a good question. I think genius, but I don't like what he's doing to Twitter. But who am I to say? I don't own a social media platform. I've not sent rockets to space. What do I know? But I don't know. I think like the biggest issue with Facebook was that it tried to be an everything app, and it just became really hard to navigate. I just want to go on there and speak to my friends and comment and post. But then I started seeing like apartments and shopping. And then the marketplace, and now I think there's like a dating Tinder thing on there, and it just became impossible to operate. And I'm just worried that same mentality will be the same thing for Twitter, because he's trying to make Twitter an all-in-one app, right? Rebranding it X. He wants to make it a place for shopping, for finances, and all of that. Like that one app, a bit like China's WeChat. That's what he wants to do. I don't know. I don't like it, but we'll see.
What's the most, like, if you were to say what's the number one most undervalued crypto that if you were to put $50,000 today, but you can't touch it for 3 years?
Oh, Bitcoin, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be. Bitcoin is the only safe haven. I am bullish on Ethereum, but I don't like Ethereum. Like, it's not decentralized. I think it's very much controlled by the world elites, in my opinion. So I think that like your money is safe to an extent if you put it in Ethereum for 3 years. Like, I think you're fine, because I am bullish on it objectively. I just don't like it. But given it is centralized, they could easily shut it down. They could freeze the wallets and things like that. But Bitcoin, I think that's the best place to put a lot of money.
And then my last question, actually 2 more questions.
Feel free. Yeah, go for it.
How do you learn so much about this space? Because you seem like you just know everything.
No, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just on crypto Twitter all day. I'm on YouTube, on crypto Twitter, and speak to people, listen. I have a crypto podcast, so I speak to the experts, and I listen. I remember like a year ago, I interviewed Raoul Pal just before Luna crashed, I think. And, Bitcoin was coming down, and, I was asking him, like, why is Bitcoin coming down? Like, what's going on? And, he explained to me the whole concept of like, not just inflation, but he explained to me how like, because of inflation, people don't have like surplus cash to start investing into crypto anymore. And because that's when inflation really started to kick in about a year ago. So, I'm learning from them. And then also before I had my podcast, I worked as a journalist. So I would also just interview people all day. And yeah, I just shut up and listen. And you actually learn something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. My last question here, what would you say is the significance of crypto
Mm.
to the average person making 50K
Yeah,
a year?
well, I would make an important distinction between Bitcoin and crypto. Crypto again is like this casino, and the significance there is, you can make dumb money very quickly by doing stupid things. And if you have your ear to the ground and you work in the industry, you can make a lot of money very quickly. But that's not a guarantee, right? The significance of Bitcoin is freedom, because governments are freezing bank accounts, governments are printing more money, they're bringing out CBDCs, which means they can control the money, they freeze it, they program it, they decide when your money expires, they decide where you spend it, what you spend it on. Whereas Bitcoin is the solution to that. It's decentralized, you can't print more of it, and it allows you to remove yourself from the financial system, which is designed, in my opinion, to keep you down, keep you poor, and keep you a slave.
All right, well, where could everybody find you, Layah? Thank you for being a guest, really. Like, the whole community was excited, and wow, like, what would you say where could people find you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I talk about mainly freedom, and that kind of expands to finance, but then also just general freedom, like how to break out the matrix and live a better, more fulfilling life.
Nice.